Your birthday is coming up next week. Someone asks what you're doing to celebrate. You shrug and say, probably nothing. They look at you like you just said you don't breathe oxygen. Nothing, but it's your birthday, and you feel that familiar pressure building. The expectation that you should want this, should care about this, should be excited about a day that honestly just makes you uncomfortable. If the thought of birthday attention makes your stomach tighten, you're not broken. You're not a killjoy, and you're definitely not alone. There's actual psychology behind why some people would rather let the day pass quietly than blow out candles in front of a crowd singing off-key. And it usually starts long before you're old enough to articulate why celebration feels wrong. Because here's what people miss. Treating your birthday like a normal day isn't about hating fun. It's about how your brain learned to handle attention, expectation, and the uncomfortable vulnerability of being celebrated. And those lessons? They were written in childhood, often in ways nobody noticed. Think back to your childhood birthdays. What do you actually remember? Maybe your parents fought around special events. Money stress made the day tense. You could feel the forced smiles, the effort it took to pretend everything was fine, while anxiety radiated through the house. Maybe someone always ruined it, a sibling acting out, a parent's meltdown, a relative starting drama. The day that was supposed to be about you became about managing someone else's chaos. Or maybe your birthday just got overlooked, not maliciously. Your parents were overwhelmed, a sibling was sick, work was demanding. Your special day quietly disappeared into the background noise of family crisis. And you learned early that your moments don't take priority, that asking to be celebrated feels selfish. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. When hoping for good things only brings disappointment, your brain builds a shield. You train yourself not to care. Not because birthdays don't matter, because caring is dangerous. Caring opens you up to being let down, again. So you stopped expecting, stopped hoping, and eventually, you stopped wanting birthday celebrations altogether. It's easier to opt out than to risk that familiar ache of being forgotten, or watching your day dissolve into someone else's problems. But there's another layer. Even if your childhood birthdays were fine, the attention itself might trigger something deeper. You're sitting at a table, everyone's looking at you, singing at you, waiting for you to react correctly. Smile big enough, look grateful enough, say the right things. And every second feels like performance, like you're under a microscope, and one wrong move will disappoint everyone watching. This is what psychologists call spotlight anxiety. For some people, being the center of attention isn't energizing. It's draining, overwhelming, almost panic-inducing. Your nervous system interprets focused attention as threat, not celebration. Maybe you grew up in a household where being noticed meant being criticized, where attention came with judgment, where visibility wasn't safe. If your childhood taught you that being seen means being evaluated, then birthday attention feels like an exam you didn't study for. Or maybe you just never needed external validation to feel valued. You don't measure your worth by how many people show up or how loud they sing. You know you matter without needing proof. And that's not arrogance. That's what psychologists call low extrinsic emotional dependency. You're emotionally stable without requiring regular doses of external affirmation. There's also the performative aspect nobody talks about. Birthday celebrations have a script: cake cutting, gift opening, polite laughter at jokes you've heard before. Everyone performing their roles in a ritual that feels hollow. And some people crave interactions that feel spontaneous, real, unscripted. They'd rather have coffee with a close friend who actually knows them than host a room full of acquaintances making small talk. They value authenticity over ceremony. This ties into what researchers call pragmatic worldview, valuing function over form. These people can enjoy celebrations, but they don't feel incomplete without them. They're not swept up by social norms dictating that birthdays must be a big deal. You might love celebrating other people's birthdays, buying them gifts, making them feel special. But when the spotlight turns on you, everything feels wrong. The pressure, the expectation, the forced joy. Because celebrating someone else lets you stay in the comfortable position of giver. Being celebrated forces you into the vulnerable position of receiver. And receiving feels dangerous. Then there's the annual reminder that time is passing. Another year gone. Another birthday to measure yourself against who you thought you'd be by now. Psychologists call this Temporal self-comparison, measuring yourself against your past and future selves. And birthdays force that comparison, whether you want it or not. By 30, I should have. By 40, I thought I'd. The gap between expectation and reality becomes impossible to ignore. For some people, avoiding birthday celebrations is avoiding that self-evaluation. It's dodging the annual reminder of missed opportunities, unfulfilled goals, timelines society imposed that you haven't met. Easier to treat it like a normal day than confront everything you're not yet. And if you're in your 20s, the pressure is even worse. Social timelines screaming that by 30, you should have everything figured out. Career, relationship, house, stability. Every birthday feels like a countdown to a deadline you're nowhere near meeting. So what does all of this create? What kind of psychology emerges from years of treating birthdays like normal days? You're often incredibly empathetic. You prefer giving to receiving. You're the friend who remembers everyone else's birthday, plans surprises, makes people feel seen. Because you know what it's like to feel invisible, and you never want anyone to feel the way you did. You're comfortable being alone. You don't need a crowd to feel validated. You can create meaning from your own daily life without waiting for a special day to feel special. And that's rare. That's psychological strength, not weakness. You're also probably guarded about personal information. If someone asks when your birthday is, you deflect, change the subject, give a vague answer. Not because you're secretive, because you've learned that sharing invites attention you don't want, expectations you can't meet, pressure you'd rather avoid. And you might carry guilt, because society tells you that not wanting to celebrate means something's wrong with you, that you're ungrateful, a downer, a killjoy. So you apologize for your preferences, minimize your discomfort, pretend you're fine with celebrations you secretly dread. Here's what needs to be said. There's no right way to treat your birthday. Some people throw multi-day celebrations. Others prefer quiet reflection. Both approaches are valid. Choosing not to celebrate doesn't mean you don't value yourself. It means you value authenticity over performance, connection over ceremony, quiet acknowledgement over loud fanfare. If you're someone who treats your birthday like a normal day, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You're not broken. You're not missing out. You're honoring what feels right for you, based on how your nervous system learned to handle attention, expectation, and celebration. And to everyone else, if someone tells you they don't want to celebrate, believe them. Don't push. Don't guilt. Don't call them a party pooper. Just respect that their relationship with birthdays is different than yours. And that's okay. If this explains something you've felt but never articulated, you're not alone. Birthday avoiders have been misunderstood for too long. This channel explores the psychology behind preferences nobody validates. Subscribe to understand what makes you who you are. And if you treat your birthday like a normal day, drop a comment. Let's find each other, because maybe together we can stop apologizing for not wanting what everyone else thinks we should want.